Chelsea are European champions. I don't think anybody would
Blue
have.
is the color,
Yeah.
football is the game. We're all together and winning is our aim. So cheer us on through the sun and rain. Chelsea, Chelsea is our aim. Yeah! European champions, man. Oh my God, we won it all. We won it all.
It's
Go
like you
ahead.
guys won the what do you say, the League One European Championship. Sorry to say, is the Conference League. But
No,
jokes apart, a trophy is a trophy. A European Cup is a European Cup, and I think Chelsea is the first team. I don't know if it's from England or anywhere to have won
ever.
all three of the European titles. Obviously, the Conference League is still nascent. It's I think just a few years old, but still, it's an achievement. I think, uh, from my perspective, it bodes well for this young Chelsea side that they've won a European trophy first time under Enzo Maresca in his first season. Uh, it's not the big one, but it's still something. I mean, it's something to cherish, to have fun. It was still knockout football. Obviously, I would say the quality of opposition wasn't that great, but the performance of Chelsea in the final certainly was something we're talking about. 4-1 winners over Real Betis. We were thinking that Anthony would have something to do in this game. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. Fun fact: he lost two European finals in the same year because Manchester United lost to Tottenham in the Europa League, and then Real Betis lost to this thing. He would have got two medals had both the teams won. So, Rohit, this is all you. Just take it away. Enjoy.
Yeah, I think you brought up quite a few important and interesting points there, right? First, let's address the elephant in the room, right? Conference League, it's not the elite competition. I think Jose Mourinho said something along the lines of Chelsea should be winning the Champions League, but still, like you said, Conference League is a trophy, right? And of course, Chelsea were overwhelming favorites from the get-go, and we talked about some of the, much smaller teams in like far off places that we had to face. So it should not have really been, a problem to win this tournament. But on the other side of things, right? This, like you said, this is a very young team. Enzo Maresca's first year with all these young people, and everybody had written this team off, right? Gary Neville had famously called Chelsea the billion-pound bottle jobs, and this is after losing a cup final, right? I mean, losing a cup final is not really bottle jobbing something, right? But Gary Neville had said that, and that had obviously struck all these young players, and so to help their confidence in the team in the project, this goes a long way, winning the Conference League, right? So it's definitely very, very positive overall from the perspective of the club, from the perspective of all of these young players' psyches, right? Let's get into the game because the game did not start according to plan, right? So Maresca made some interesting changes, right? In goal, he was, okay with Jorgensen starting, and then Badiashile as one of the center backs. But if you look at the rest of the team, almost everybody was a first team player. This was not anybody who was part of the second team who had been consistently playing with the Conference League, right? The only difference, of course, is Jorgensen, Badiashile, and maybe Malo Gusto coming in for Reese. But Malo Gusto for Reese is more because Reese really can't play two full games, within 3 days. So there was a bit of confused thinking there. If everybody else, all the top players, all your Cole Palmers, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Neto, Jackson are going to start, why kind of start with your second choice center back and your second choice goalkeeper and so on and so forth? Which is interesting. But anyways, of course, Betis, who've not won any European trophy ever, I think, in their history, they started really well. And they have some good players, right? Isco, at the age of 33, was amazing. Amazing, right? He still got his amazing touch. He still got the ability to keep hold of the ball under pressure. And he was really good. And they were pressing Chelsea high. So here is one of my problems with Maresca. Let's talk about that first, right? So Malo Gusto started as a right back, and as Maresca has one of his wing backs or sorry, right backs join into the midfield, inverting into the midfield, right? And Gusto is not that good at that. And this has been seen multiple times across the season, right? He's not very comfortable playing in a defensive midfield position where you get the ball under pressure, multiple people are trying to press you, and you have to find the logical, safe pass out of it, right? And he didn't, right? He gave the ball away, and that's what led to the first goal. And not only did he give the ball away once, that obviously, kind of cratered his confidence. He had a pretty horrible game. His so far score rating is 5.9. It's red, right? Right. So I don't really blame Malo Gusto for that, right? Here is somebody who is attacking wing back, right? A right back. He's not somebody who's suited to inverting. Like, why are you trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole again and again, right? That's the problem with Maresca's system. He needs exactly the kind of player that he wants for everything, which is not the case with Schlott, right? But at least he corrected that in the halftime, and then Reece James came on. I think after that, Cole Palmer took over. It was a
Yeah.
Cole Palmer show. I was just talking to my friends, Chelsea fan friends, and saying that hey, Cole Palmer has been really ineffective. And then he turned on turned on a brilliant show, right? So he took the ball halfway line, drove forward, dribbled past somebody, cut back, and put a beautiful cross right onto the head of Enzo Fernandez, who made a good run into the box, and we equalized in the second half, right? And you could see something had changed. Palmer was clearly shackled in the first half, and now he himself came out and said that I was tired of passing backwards and sideways, so I just decided to go with it. Uh, Chelsea took the lead again, set up by Palmer. Brilliant move down the right. He basically, rolled his defender, went past, and put a ball into the box with his wrong foot. And Nico Jackson scored with his chest. It was awfully close to his hand, so I was a little scared for a while. But that goes to show, right? Nicolas Jackson, he was in the right position. He scored, but what should have been an easy header became like a chested goal, and that too kind of I don't think he meant it, right? So that's a problem with Jackson, right? So we took the lead, and of course, second half with the added kind of tempo from Chelsea, Betis faded because Betis had put a lot of effort in the first half, and this goes to show the good and bad of Jackson. Right after scoring, Jackson basically took the ball and led a counter from a Betis corner, him and Sancho. He did really well initially, and he was through on goal, right? Running through on goal with Sancho running with him for support, and one of his touches was so bad. Instead of like setting him up for goal, the ball just went to the opposition goalkeeper Adrian, right? So within like 5 or 10 minutes, you saw the good and the horrible bad part of Jackson, right? So this is where I think Liam Delap, who Chelsea have been linked with and are about to sign, would be helpful, right? The ruthlessness there. Of course, Chelsea ended up scoring two more goals. Jadon Sancho scored a goal that was good. That was really good for him. Good to see him kind of succeeding at Chelsea at whatever level. And then Moises Caicedo rounded it off for a 4-1 win. So overall, a really good night for us, which started kind of very nervously with us giving away a cheap goal. But then, our I would say quality, but also overall just fitness levels and intensity levels in the second half saw us through. So we are champions of the Conference League, so that's good to know. It's obviously you could see everybody was very happy about it. All these young kids, 21, 22, 23 years old, that gives their confidence a big boost. And now we have a couple of weeks off, and then we are off to the Club World Cup. Which is interesting because nobody is really interested in it.
Yeah,
but the prize money is insane.
yeah,
You
I was getting that.
almost get the same amount of prize money as the Champions League for like 2.5 or 3 weeks of football, right? So that's the motivation for all the teams who are in it, and Chelsea are in it. And I expect Chelsea to make many more signings from now because we have to fill a few holes just to be ready for the Club World Cup.
So yeah, so I was gonna go to talk about the Club World Cup, but then I was looking at this Betis team and I wanted to touch upon it. They have some real, like this is like one of those old football clubs that have like a Stoke City that had, Jermaine Pennant and Peter Crouch and all these random guys there. So they got Mark Bartra of Barcelona, Adrian of Liverpool, Ricardo Rodriguez. Everybody knows the Swiss left back, Wolfsburg, and then AC Milan, and then Isco. And even Giovanni Lo Celso, he was at Spurs. So a very interesting side. But yeah, to round it up, I think it's good that Chelsea won this because it takes a bit of pressure off Enzo Maresca. I know winning the Conference League would have put you into the Europa League, and I don't think that would have been really that great. So getting into the top four by beating Nottingham Forest was good for you also. And I want to see what happens in the summer with the Chelsea team because there are so many players that you guys have, and we've spoken about this previously also. There will be a lot of chopping and changing, but do you see anyone from the starting 11 or any really important player that might be sold or will leave for whatever reason?
I mean, right now, I think the only player, at least in this particular match, who might leave is Jadon Sancho,
Mhm.
because we have him on loan from Man United, but his wages are very high. It doesn't kind of align with the current structure that we have. So what is going on right now is there's negotiations happening. Chelsea is basically telling Sancho, "Hey, we want to have you here, but
Yeah.
your wages are not sustainable." So if Sancho agrees to reduce wages, more incentive-based wages, he'll stay. Otherwise, he'll just go back, and we'll have to pay $5 million penalty or something to Manchester United,
So
right?
I was seeing
From
like,
the
sorry, there was this image of a video of Jadon Sancho celebrating wildly in the dressing room with the kids, and then there was a comment there like, "Don't celebrate too much, kid. You're going back to Manchester United." So
Yeah, yeah, that's a very unenviable position to be in when I
yeah,
think
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
right, Nadeem? Because assume you're making like a lot of money, right? But it's a very toxic workplace,
mm,
right? You find a new employer, but then they're asking you to take a major pay cut. You enjoy
yeah.
yourself there, but that's a tough place to be in. But apart from that, I don't think we are going to sell anybody. We might have loans. We already have like a loan army bigger than like the I don't know, the army of Genghis Khan or something, like 500 people on loan, and some other people will join. I think Mark Gui will probably go on loan, especially if we get Liam Delap in. Mark Gui was a young striker that we got from Barcelona. He's been pretty decent this year. He was also out injured. But the exciting thing for us is we have a lot of these superstar youngsters coming in. Andre Santos, who's a Brazilian central midfielder, he's coming back to us. We already bought him a couple of years ago. He's been on loan at Strasbourg and has been one of the best midfielders. So he's going to be a really good number 8, good support there. We're also getting Esteban Willian from Palmeiras, the next Brazilian wonder kid. He's joining us as well. Uh, we have Kendry Paez. He's an Ecuadorian wonder kid. So Kendry might go on loan, but we have quite a few players already signed up. We also had signed this guy called Dario Sugo, this backup for Caicedo, hard tackling midfielder. So a lot of young guys coming in. But I still expect us to make a few more signings. Of course, Nkunku is going to leave. You talked about it before. And then we have so many people out on loan, man. We have Chukwuemeka out on loan. He needs to leave. We still have Armando Broya. We still have Sterling. We still have Chilwell. Oh my God,
Oh,
I don't even
wow.
know, right? We also bought the Renato Vega guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Dewsbury
on loan.
Hall also.
Dewsbury Hall is going to stay, I think, unless we
Okay.
get a really good offer, because he's a good squad player and he seems to be at least happy right now with whatever his contributions are. And he makes contributions. He also set up Sancho today. Unless we get a really good offer for him, I think he might stay, especially right now because we have the Champions League and you'll need more depth anyway. So a lot of movement expected, and especially now that we have Champions League, hopefully the team is going to be able to build better and become stronger next season.
So with that, we end this episode of the Lion and the Liverbird podcast. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our content. Comment and ask, or tell us that you're liking this, you don't like this, you want Chelsea to win the Champions League, you want Liverpool to win the Champions League, and we'll see how Chelsea do in the Club World Cup. It's gonna be a competition that's held every 4 years now instead of every year. So they basically, I think, removed the Confederations Cup and put this in. So interesting to see how the teams do. It's a big, big tournament, lot of teams. So maybe we'll have
Yep.
some talking points from that in the next show. Until then,
Yep.
take care and bye bye.
Bye bye.